In this video, we are going to continue with session 1. If you take a look here, we are going to be looking at list. So lists are ordered collections of items. So you can put an ordered collection of items. For example, you go to the grocery store and you buy your groceries. You can put them in a list. They are mutable. What does it mean when we say mutable? It means the content of a list can be changed after you have created it. The items in a list are enclosed in a square bracket. So we need a square bracket to be able to create a list, and you separate one item from another using a comma. And lists can hold items of different data types. What do we mean? It means you can put integers, you can put float, you can put strings, and so on. You can put all of that in a list. So let's start with an example of a list. Okay, first let me just create an empty list, then I'll print the empty list. Let's see what happens. So let me just say empty list. Why do I want to do that? It's because it's something we will be doing from time to time. You can have a list with nothing in it. So if I just say print and I say empty list and I run it, you can see that we have an empty list. There's nothing inside that list. Let me see. Shift enter. Okay, here we go. So the next thing I want to do, I want a list of numbers. So let me say numbers. Hold on, this is not what I want. Okay, I want to put my code there, not. Awesome. We did say you always have to start with an open list and you'll put commas. Okay, let's just have that as a first example of a list containing things. So I'll just say numbers, shift enter, and there we go. Now let us run a list of strings. Float. So you can put any float. As we did mention, it has to be within the square brackets. So let's just go with the single quote. So I'll put Apple. Okay, let's print it. And there we go. Now you can see it always prints it. It gives you what you have there. Now let's take another example where we mix it. So let's just call this mixed list 1 cherry 2.22 banana. So here we have a mixed list, and there we go. So as you see, it can do all of that. Now the interesting thing is, how do we access the different contents of this list? So we can simply access it using the index. So the different elements, for example, of this list can be accessed using the index. So let's just do it. So if I say, for example, print, let's say I want to go to fruit, I want to access mango. I can say last fruit comma. So it's going to be fruit. Then I'll put 0 because so to access elements, it generally starts 0, 1, 2, and so on. So it always starts with, so it's a 0 indexed language. So I'll do Shift Enter. Here we go, last fruit, apple. So if we want, we can make a proper statement there. And if we want, we can get the other one. So if I do fruit and I say 1, there we go, we have banana. Now we mentioned that we could modify it. So let's say we want to replace banana with something else, with let's say blueberries. So it simply means I could say fruit and 1. So I'll just say 1 equal blueberries. Now if I do that and I come and I say print fruit 1. Well, let me just say fruit. Okay, let's see all what's there. You can now see that we have blueberries. If you want to split it into 2, it's up to you. You can say that's it. Actually, I'll just say blueberry. Awesome. Okay, now let's say we want to append something. We know that we want to add something here at the ends. So it's not really replacing, but we want to add, we want to append. So we will simply say fruit. We will use the append function. Let's say orange. And when I come, I print fruit. So you can see we have orange. And let's say we want to get rid of something. I can say fruit pop. And then, so it means we've popped off the orange from there. So let's just say I actually now say, I'll come here and say fruit. So we can see that within fruit we no more have orange because we popped it off. So we are going to look at another data type. We will be looking at dictionaries. So dictionaries are unordered collection of key value pairs. So just remember this word key value. You have a key and you have the value of that key. For example, you have the ID of a student and you have the name of that student, or the ID of a student and the grade this student scored. So they are mutable. It means you can change it. The keys must be unique. For example, the ID of a student must be unique. 2 students cannot have the same ID. And they are typically strings or numbers. So your ID can be a string of characters or a number. Values can be of any data type. So it can be float, integers, whatever you choose. Dictionaries are enclosed in curly braces. So we are going to be using curly braces. We enclose it within the key. We enclose the key value pairs within that. And you separate the key from the value using column. Okay, let's start. Let's first try with an empty dictionary. Let's call it empty dic. So we will just use a curly braces. And I'll say print. So here I have empty dic, and there we go. So we can see that there's nothing in this dictionary. Now let's move on to our first dictionary that actually contains something. So let's say we want a dictionary of student. So for that, I'll say equal, I'll open my curly braces, and now I can go on with the key value pairs that we did mention separated by a column. So I'll say name. Of course, the name is quite unique. Name, what's the name of the student? I'll say Peter Tosh. Then to separate it, we'll put a comma and we'll move on to the next key value pair. We'll say the age. Here, 22. The major, in other words, what they are studying, their university major, we'll say computer science. Put a comma always, else you start getting errors. Is graduated. So we are just trying to use most of the different data types. So we'll say false. They've not yet graduated. That's the last one. So that's it. And here we can say print student dictionary is comma student. Hit enter. So here we go. We have name Peter Touch, age 22, major, blah, 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 blah. Now, what if we want to extract things? We will no more be doing what we initially did here, where we were using 0, 1, 2, and so on to extract the content. Here, we will enter the key, and then we will have the value. So if, for example, we come and say print, and we say students name is, comma, I'll say student, I'll come here and then we'll put name. Then we can also say print students age is, so we'll say student, and within that we'll say age. So shift enter, you can see student's name is Peter Touch, student's age is 22. So yeah, now we are going to see how to extract something using what we call the get method. So let's say print student's name using the get method. Now let's go for it. So I'll say student dot get. So when you use dot, it enables you to access that method. So what do we do is it's going to come and look at the major. Anything that is here, it's going to look for the key. So the get method will look for that key. So here I'll just say the major. Okay, we know that. Actually, I'll just say name. So student's name using get method, Peter Tosh. So the get method went and extracted it, and we basically have Peter Tosh. Now let's try another one. So student dot get, we want the major. Shift enter, the major is computer science. Now why is this method really good? Because you can, if you are not really sure that any of these things exist, you can use it without having significant issues. So I'll say student dot get So GPA, we know that we don't have the GPA, so when we run it, we get nothing. Okay, nothing really comes out. However, it's possible to tell it that if you can't find any key, which is GPA, give me something. So for example, we can say student.get, and this is what it should look for, GPA. And in case GPA is not there, what should it say? It should say not available. So we say not available. However, if you were looking for something that is there, let's say we go back to student.get major, and you say not available. In case it cannot find it, and we run it, you see that we have it, so it's there. Now note that Python is case sensitive, so if you turn this into something like that, then it's going to say not available because in your key value pairs here, you did not use the capital letter there. So just keep that in mind. Now let's look at some methods to modify the content of that dictionary. We had seen some methods to modify the content of the list. For example, we saw that you could change the content just using the index. Here we will see how you can change the content of some of the key value pairs. So if I come and I say student, and I want to change, for example, the age, I'll just say age, and I say 22. No, we entered 22, so let's say 24 is the new age. Now if I print student, we will find that the age is now 24, it's no more 22. If, for example, let's say I want to increase a new key value pair here, I simply need to say student and now put the new one in it immediately. This is an approach we use a lot when we really start analyzing data. So just take note of it. So here we go. Let's say Ottawa University of Technology. And if we say print student, if we take a look, we can see Ottawa University of Technology, which was initially not there. Now we have it there. So basically this will round up the first session, and I will see you in session 2, where we will move on to some things which are a bit more serious and more involved. Have fun coding.